The top stories tonight in Y News. A geopolitics expert warns of the possible security and economic implications in the Philippines of the expanded coverage of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA. The Department of Foreign Affairs confirms the death of another Filipina and her 3 children following the magnitude 7.8 earthquake in Turkey. And the European Union Foreign Affairs chief warns on the final day of the Munich Security Conference that the Ukraine war will be over unless the EU boosts military support. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, February 20, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harding Delgado. First in the news. A geopolitics expert warns of the possible security and economic implications in the Philippines of the expanded coverage of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
The Marcos government should study carefully the expanded military partnership between the Philippines and the United States by designating 4 new sites in strategic areas under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA. This is according to Lucio Blanco Pitlo III, the geopolitics expert. According to Pitlo, there are possible security and economic implications with the said expanded coverage of EDCA.
Itong mga hakbang na to kasi hindi lang security yung implication nito, no? Economic tsaka yung ating foreign relations. So dapat pag-usapan ng maigi, pag-aralan ng maigi yung pros and cons nitong mga hakbang na to, lalo na itong expansion ng EDCA.
He added that the decision to add 4 EDCA sites may resulted tensions to other claimants in the South China Sea.
Ngayon, kung papayag tayo na maglagay ang Estados Unidos ng mga base dito, o payagan natin sila magkaroon ng military access sa ilang lokasyon natin, no? Lalo na very sensitive yung mga locations na yan, no? Kasi yung proximity nila dito sa mga hotspots gaya ng South China Sea at ng Taiwan Strait, no? Kung papayagan natin sila, maaari siguro tingnan ng ilang kapitbahay natin sa ASEAN yun na bakit natin hinahayaan yun, no? Alam naman natin na maaari lang itong paigtingin lalo yung tension dito sa region.
There are 5 existing sites identified under EDCA, namely Cebu, Cagayan de Oro, Nueva Ecija, Palawan, and Pampanga. And defense officials from both Manila and Washington have agreed to expedite the completion of its existing projects. The 4 new EDCA locations have yet to be named. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, confirms the death of another Filipina and her 3 children following the magnitude 7.8 earthquake in Turkey. In a statement, the Philippine Embassy in Turkey said the victims were previously reported to be missing under the rubble in the city of Antakya in Hatay province, one of the most devastated areas in Turkey. It added that the Filipina and her children have been laid to rest by her Turkish husband in accordance with Turkish tradition. The embassy adds the Philippine government is hosting more than 20 families in the embassy shelter and has met more than 70 Filipinos who have decided to remain in their home provinces in Turkey. The Bureau of Corrections, or Bucor, will start the decongestion of the new Bilibid prison next month. JP Nunez has the story.
Bureau of Corrections, or Bucor, Acting General Gregorio Catapang Jr. disclosed that they will transfer some persons deprived of liberty, or PDLs, from the new Bilibid prison, or NBP, to Palawan next month. This is part of the effort to decongest the National Penitentiary.
Next month, I will be transferring about 500 already. 500 PDL at the medium security compound, and they will be brought to Iwahi.
Katapang added, the initial number of PDLs will be from the medium security compound, and by April, another 1,000 PDLs will also be transferred to Davao Prison in Penal Farm.
In one regional prison and penal farm, we will accommodate 7,500. 7,500 kasi tatlong compound.
The Bucor aims to transfer all PDLs to regional Bucor facilities on June 2028 before President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will step down from the office. Based on the Bucor's data, as of January 31, 2023, there are 29,338 PDLs in the New Bilibid prison as compared to its actual capacity of 6,435. Thus, NBP has a 456% occupancy rate and 356% congestion rate. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Department of Justice or DOJ Secretary Crispin Boying Remulla has stressed that there is no existing mechanism that the International Criminal Court or ICC can operate in the Philippines. Hence, there is allegedly no way for them to enter the country. And if they will force to come in, Remulla believes that the ICC will be violating the country's legal system. The Justice Chief added the Philippines has a well-functioning legal system and the country can prosecute crimes in the country.
If they want to put into themselves the judicial power of this country, then they will be committing a violation of our legal system, of our law. So it's just a fair warning that do not monkey around with our legal system.
The Senate employees are set to receive a one-time inflation assistance worth 50,000 pesos. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri announced this in today's flag ceremony. The increase is 4 times higher than the Senate's current inflation assistance to its employees at 12,200 pesos. Zubiri says this is to help the 3,000 employees of the Philippine Senate amid high prices of commodities. Meanwhile, the medical assistance for Senate employees has also been increased from 30,000 pesos to 50,000 pesos, while retirees will receive 30,000 pesos of retirement benefits every year, depending on their length of service.
Ginamit po namin savings ito. Kung nagkaka-savings po kami sa Senado, dinadagdagan po namin ng incentives para sa mga empleyado namin. So, ang pakiusap mo nga kanina, na sana na we spend less on paper, spend less on overtime, para may balik ko din po sa mga empleyado itong savings na natatanggap namin in terms of incentives and bonuses.
The Commission on Elections or COMELEC assures it is now ready for the conduct of the Barangayan Sangguniang Kabataan Elections or BSKE in October, 4 years after it was last held in the country. This report will tell us why.
The Commission on Elections or COMELEC is now gearing up for the conduct of the first automated election system for the Barangayan Sangguniang Kabataan Elections or BSKE in selected areas in October 30, 2023. In today's hearing of the Senate Committee on Electoral Reforms and People's Participation, COMELEC Chairman George Erwin Garcia confirms that 3 barangays will undergo pilot automated elections for the BSKE, 2 in Dasmariñas City, Cavite, and 1 in Quezon City. Garcia explained the voting will be automated, but the uploading of results will be done manually, where the SD cards will be transported to canvassing areas. According to the COMELEC chief, they cannot conduct an electronic transmission of results, citing its costs. However, several senators expressed security and integrity concerns on the proposed system.
Huwag naman mag-testing during the election, nakakatakot naman yata yan. Baka magic nga yun eh. Hindi pa tayo sigurado kung paano mag-work.
So paano naman po yung seguridad noon? Yung pong magdadala ng SD card, dapat po meron silang escort, police or military to make sure na hindi po ma-hold up yun o hindi magkakaroon ng salisiat.
Definitely we will issue the highest security arrangement. Ganyan din po yung nangyayari sa atin during the 2022 elections and the previous elections of automated. Pag po hindi nakapag-transmit electronically machines, ina-upload po manually. Yung kinukuha mo yung SD card, sinadala mo sa bayan, dinadala sa City Hall.
Garcia assures lawmakers a dry run will be conducted before the election day. For transparency, he says all poll watchers will be involved in the entire process and will be given the copy of printed election returns from the vote counting machines. The Comelec chief is also confident that they are now ready for the conduct of this year's BSKE. The poll body eyes to finish the printing of the ballots this month. Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
A senator has filed a resolution expressing support to former President Rodrigo Duterte against the investigation or prosecution by the International Criminal Court or ICC. This comes days after 19 lawmakers in the House of Representatives filed a similar measure led by former President and now House Senior Deputy Speaker Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. In Senate Resolution 488 introduced by Senator Robin Padilla, it says that the Duterte presidency has ushered quote-unquote remarkable accomplishments brought about by his relentless campaign against illegal drugs and insurgency, among others. It added that the country's peace and order situation considerably improved during the Duterte administration. Padilla further noted that the Philippines has a functioning judicial system. Last month, the ICC pre-trial chamber authorized the resumption of investigation on the country's controversial drug war.
And for our news abroad, European Union's Foreign Affairs Chief Josep Borrell warns that the war in Ukraine will be over in weeks unless they find a way to boost military supplies for Ukraine. Mr. Borrell will meet with EU foreign ministers on Monday to discuss the use of the 3.6 billion euro European Peace Facility to purchase ammunition jointly. He said the EU is in urgent war mode as European armies also struggle with the ammunition shortage, with bullets taking up to 10 months to arrive. In a Munich Security Conference on Saturday, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen agreed that a joint approach would be a more efficient option to speed up the procurement of ammunition for Ukraine. An upcoming meeting of the EU's defense ministers in early March will allow them to offer ammunition from their existing stocks to address the urgency of the shortages. Sydney saw one of the hottest days of summers on Saturday as temperatures peaked at 38 degrees Celsius, triggering weather events which caused chaos and power loss across the city. Marvy Delfin explains why live. Yes, Marvy?
Kath, as the heat in New South Wales increased over the weekend, the state was met with a sudden storm which blew wild winds at a rate from 45 kilometers an hour in the Sydney CBD and 70 kilometers an hour at beaches in Newcastle. Two electricity distributors, Ausgrid and Endeavour Energy, reported over 60,000 customers who lost electricity in major areas of Sydney, Newcastle and Central Coast. They are now gradually restoring electricity to those impacted. Following the end of Sail Grand Prix, a multi-million-dollar sailing tournament in central Sydney, winds with speeds of 70 kilometers an hour wreaked havoc in the area, causing a Canadian boat to become uncontrollable as it was attached to a crane. People were running around trying to avoid the crane, which was seen tearing up fences and seriously damaging temporary structures designed for the race, before eventually ripping apart. Meanwhile, the events held by SailGP on Sunday were cancelled, and they have since then put out a statement declaring that no one was hurt during the freak incident induced by the sudden weather. Back to you, Kath.
Thank you, Marvy Delfin, reporting live from Australia. To further enhance the diplomatic relationship between China and Pacific Island nations, China has appointed Qian Bo, China's ambassador to Fiji since 2018, as the first special envoy of the Chinese government on Pacific Islands affairs. Beijing's special envoy to China Pacific Island Forum, or PIF, will be a representative of the entire Chinese government and will work as a coordinator across different ministries and departments of the State Council. PIF is a regional organization that includes Pacific Island nations as well as Australia and New Zealand. U.S. has closed its embassy in the Solomon Islands since 1993, but due to the security deal between China and the island last year, U.S. has opened new embassies in the Pacific Islands, including the Solomon Islands, Kiribati, and Tonga, increasing the number of embassies in the region from 6 to 9. Over the past 2 decades, China has significantly increased its presence in Oceania and has become a major trading partner and investor in the region. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I'm Kat Tumaraos, live from Bangkok, Thailand. Good evening.
The group of former Senator Manny Pacquiao and Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel of the Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan or PDP Laban has appealed the decision of the Commission on Elections or COMELEC on the party's legitimacy before the Supreme Court. The appeal was filed by the Pacquiao-Pimentel Wing's legal counsel, Attorney Jeric Salenga, Executive Director Ron Monsayak, and Education Chairperson and founding member Pines Arcega. Last month, the COMELEC denied the motion for reconsideration of the faction of Pacquiao and Pimentel and upheld its earlier ruling, recognizing the faction of former Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi with former President Rodrigo Duterte as chairman as the official leadership of the former ruling party. Meanwhile, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines or CAAP has yet to confirm if the wreckage aircraft found near Mayon Volcano in Albay was the missing Cessna. Meanwhile, search and rescue team for the missing aircraft is underway after getting a permit to go near Mayon Volcano. Janice and Henta will tell us why.
In order to confirm if the wreckage aircraft surfaced near Mayon Volcano was really from the missing Cessna 340 in Albay, the accident investigators must go to the supposed crash site on the ground and not just through aerial inspection, according to the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines or CAAP. CAAP spokesperson Eric Apolonio said they still need to see the wreckage of the plane before any confirmation is done to avoid mistakes.
Aerial shot palang mo nakuha namin yung drone shots, no? But we cannot confirm kung yun nga yung said aircraft. Ang kailangan po kasi yung ating accident investigators makita on the ground yung crash site mismo.
Apolonio added that the search and rescue team could not easily go to the crash site due to the weather condition and the area was within the permanent danger zone.
Unfortunately, because of bad weather kahapon, hindi ko nakakapanik doon sa area. No? But kanginang umaga, tuloy-tuloy sila at weather permits yung ating tinatawag na area of search ay tutuloy din para ma-determine nga kung pareho yung aircraft na nakita kahapon at yung hinahanap namin.
Meanwhile, according to Apolonio, the search and rescue team for missing Cessna plane in Albay has received permission from the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology of PHIVOLCS to enter the vicinity of Mayon Volcano despite the alert level 2 raised in the area. Aside from identifying the said aircraft, CAAP said it is also important to retrieve the wreckage to determine the cause of its crash and why it landed near Mayon Volcano.
Ang purpose po niyang emergency locator is pag nag-impact yung nasabing aircraft, mag-activate ka agad at malalaman natin kung nasa ang site. Unfortunately po, nung tinetrace natin yan, wala akong ganun nangyari no? Nawala yung airplano 3 minutes after takeoff. Kailangan mo ma-retrieve yung mga parts ng aircraft para ma-reconstruct ng ating investigation team. Ano? Dahil sila po ang magre-determine yan kung anong naging problema, whether it's mechanical or kung aircraft mismo or weather or yung pilot error. Hindi po natin ngayon masasabi kung ano talaga, not unless ma-recover yung mga nasabing parts ng aircraft.
Janice Henta, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Poultry producers complain over the decrease in the price of chicken. The group says there is an oversupply of the product. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The United Broiler Raisers Association or UBRA noted that there is about 10 to 20% increase in the supply of local chicken. The group's president, attorney Bong Insyong, said that the decrease in the demand also results to the price decrease by about 10 to 20 pesos per kilogram.
Sa ngayon ay may oversupply at nagkakandalugi yung mga nag-aalaga. May oversupply.
Attorney Insyong said that good weather condition also favors the local production. They are also considering the buying capacity of consumers now for the decreasing in demand.
Kasi marami ring hamon doon sa tinatawag na disposable income ng mga tao. Tataas daw ang kuryente, tataas ang tubig, pamasahe. Siyempre, yun hindi mo maiwasan yun eh. Pero yung pagbili naman, pwede mo mong iwasan muna eh.
Meanwhile, importers are concerned of the limited source of imported chicken. Based on the data of the Bureau of Animal Industry, import ban is being implemented in 6 out of 14 countries that the country usually import. This is due to the cases of avian influenza or bird flu.
Kapag mga exporter, alam nila na limitado ang mga options natin, itataas sila ang presyo. So that's a big cause of concern.
But Bai said that they are already implementing regionalization in large countries to still import chicken in areas not affected by the disease.
Meron tayong agreement na galing lang doon sa HPI free regions ng Canada and US yung ating i-import po.
UBRA called on the Department of Agriculture to convene the task force against avian influenza to craft measure that could prevent the spread of bird flu. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
A House of Representatives panel has approved a proposal calling for a constitutional convention. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
Voting 17-3 in favor, the House Committee on Constitutional Amendments has approved the still unnumbered resolution of both houses calling for a constitutional convention to amend the 1987 Constitution. Under the Constitutional Convention, a separate body will be created via election and would deliberate and vote on amendments in the Constitution.
We declare that the resolution on the committee report for a resolution about houses has been approved by the Committee on Constitutional Amendments.
7 public hearings, including dialogues in different areas in the country, were conducted to discuss the necessity of making amendments in the Constitution, particularly in the restrictive economic provisions. According to House Panel Chairman and Cagayan de Oro City 2nd District Representative Rufus Rodriguez, majority is in favor of the proposed amendment, stating that easing the economic restrictions would open for economic growth. However, the Makabayan bloc sees otherwise. Gabriela Portelis Representative Arlene Brosas reiterated that the country is facing other issues, including low salary, high commodity prices, and unemployment, which cannot be resolved by amending the Constitution.
Opening our lands to total foreign ownership will displace more Filipino farmers and indigenous communities and further undermine our food security and national sovereignty. This will deny any chance at instituting a genuine land use plan in line with our national interests and needs of Filipinos.
Meanwhile, retired Supreme Court Chief Justice Reynato Puno pushes even further, suggesting a revision of the Constitution. The former Supreme Court Justice explained there is a need for revision, especially when the laws are already outdated.
The 1987 Constitution is good in the decades of the 80s and the 90s. For the last decades of the 20th century. We have crossed 2 decades of the 21st century. The world in the last decades of the 20th century is a totally different world in the opening decades of the 21st century.
He also recommended a hybrid constitutional convention to protect it from partisan interests. Under a hybrid CONCON, some delegates will be elected by the voting public, while others will be appointed by the executive and legislative body. Meanwhile, the House Committee will continue deliberations on Wednesday, February 22, for another resolution on charter change. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Department of Energy, or DOE, has reported the completion of the maintenance work in Malampaya gas-to-power facility on Monday, February 20. The agency said that the maintenance on Malampaya pipelines, platform, and the entire system has been successfully completed. Energy Department added that there are no incident occurred from February 4 to 18 maintenance shutdown of the project. DOE Secretary Rafael Lotilla said that the agency continues to upgrade the technical capabilities of the project to be available for local and energy supply-based facilities. Senator Grace Poe calls on the National Economic and Development Authority to expedite the release of the Implementing Rules and Regulations, or IRR, of the amendments of Public Service Act that would allow 100% ownership for foreign nationals. Meanwhile, a lawmaker said it could be a threat to the national security. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
Senator Grace Poe called on the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, to speed up the Implementing Rules and Regulations, or IRR, of the Public Service Act. This is to allow easing of restriction on foreign investment in the country.
I would like to appeal also that the executive, particularly the National Economic Development Authority, speed up the passage of or composing the implementing rules and regulations so that the Public Service Act will finally be enacted. It is in the law that within 6 months of approval of the bill, the IRR shall be composed, meaning by April, that should be ready.
The Public Service Act was signed by former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte on March 21, 2022, and it amends the Commonwealth Act No. 146 that has been enacted 85 years ago. The amendment aims to lift the restrictions on foreigners by owning business completely with clear safeguards, meaning the measures can allow foreigners to own 100% ownership contrary to the previous 60-40 requirement. Former Bayan Muna Representative Nery Colmenares said they were against the amendments as it is not the solution for economic growth.
Against kami dito. Ang foreign investment, importante naman yan, pero hindi siya ang main engine of growth. Ang main engine of growth ay national industrialization.
He added that foreign ownership in the country deprived the Filipino businesses and states that this is a threat to the national security.
Kaya disagree talaga ako sa pagbukas na ito, katulad ng sa Public Service Act, na kung saan ang mga airlines, mga airports ay hindi na ay open na sa foreign ownership, because it not only deprives Filipino businesses of opportunities but also is a national security threat sa ating bansa.
NEDA said that the delay of the IRR was due to proposals from both members of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The North Triangle Common Station in Quezon City is set to partially operate by the second quarter this year. Meanwhile, its full operation may begin by 2025. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Department of Transportation Executive reported that the Unified Grand Central Station, or the North Triangle Common Station, built in Quezon City is almost complete. DOTR Undersecretary for Railways Cesar Chavez said that the tiles, the railings, and the tracks are installed in the station. The official declared that the common station may partially operate by June this year, which will initially connect passengers from LRT Line 1 and MRT 3, and will soon accommodate passengers coming from MRT 7 and Metro Manila Subway.
June 2023, partial operability.
On the other hand, it is expected to be fully operational by 2025. Yusek Chavez said that the contractor still needs to upgrade the signaling system on the station, which may take construction up to 2 years.
Marami pang gagawin. Yung signaling, napaka-importante. Ang gusto natin signaling. Well, bakit na-delay tayo sa signaling? Sapagkat yung Line 1 nag-upgrade, Alstom. MRT3 nag-upgrade, Alstom, ang signaling system. Samantalang yung binigay na award kay BF Corporation para sa signaling lumang sistema,
Aside from signaling system, the contractor will also install automated fare collection system also within 2 years.
Yung automated ay hindi best case scenario. Well, gusto namin nandoon yun, no? Pero mukhang mahihirapan na makakalagay yun. So, dapat, kung sakasakali, manual pa lang yan. Parang bending. Diba yung stored value? Single journey ticket. Bumibili ka, tapos yung dadalhin mo.
In the original plan, the common station is expected to be open to commuters by January 2021. However, the construction of the project has been affected by COVID-19 pandemic.
Matagal kasi number one, nung panahon ng pandemic, pinaliwanag sa amin ng BF Corporation sa pagpasok ng Marcos administration, dati social distancing, physical distancing, marami sa mga workers ang hindi pumasok nung panahon ng pandemya. Marami sa mga hindi pumasok, hindi na bumalik. And therefore, nagbawas talaga ng maraming tao.
The common station is expected to cater up to 1.5 million passengers on a daily basis. Yusek Chavez said this project means convenience for public commuters as they no longer need to shift from one railway station to another.
Bakit convenient? Hindi mo na kinakailangang bumaba. Galing ka sa MRT3, galing ka ng Ortigas, galing ka halimbawa ng Green Hills, galing ka ng Cubao, ang direction mo ay papunta ng Monumento. O hindi ka na kailangang bumaba. Transfer ka na lang. Sakay ka na ng LRT Line 1, diretso ka na ng Monumento.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our Kasangbahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time through the social media accounts of Members Church of God International. And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Proverbs, chapter 2, verse 6, it says, "For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding." And those are the reasons behind the news, February 20, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Hardin Delgado. We serve the people, we give glory to God.